Hey Buns, we have new footage of Haranir and huge housing news and a ton of fresh midnight information that has come out since my last video just a couple of days ago, because Gamescom is afoot and I've watched every interview, I've read every article, I've collected all the juicy bits that weren't covered in my last video for this one. Let's hop in. Player housing will have an important feature: imports. Annie Fuchsia asked on the show floor, will you be able to import houses from others?
Oh, yet if it's gonna be possible to import houses from others, kind of like how we share talents. What's that? You will be able to, confirmed. Yes, there will be an import feature.
That means you can probably charge people for your import codes, right? Pay for your whole subscription by decorating houses. Trade offer: I give you cute house, you give me a mythic raid carry. Kexman asked about decorating the exterior of your home in his interview with the devs at Gamescom, and they clarified there's no spatial relationship between the interior and exterior, and the UI designer said that decorating the outside will be like using the barbershop UI, where you have the full screen of the exterior of your home. You'll have drop downs for changing things like the roof. You can add towers, you can add different elements to your house, so each house will look very different from a neighbor. They confirmed that housing is launching with 4 exterior culture kits: Orc, Human, Blood Elf, and Night Elf. That'll be the initial options, and they want to build from there. They said that you should think of decor as a reason to visit your home. You know, you get something new and you go to your house, drop it off and put it on the wall or whatever. But neighborhoods is a way to send you from your housing area back out to doing stuff in the game. So you can think of this like the endeavors, like a combination of a world quest and a travel log from the trading post that's going to be specific to your neighborhood. The neighborhood manager, and you can have more than one neighborhood manager, by the way. You can have like an HOA of officers. They pick the endeavor from a short list of themes, and then that commits the whole neighborhood for a month. So the manager decides, we're gonna help the mechanomes this month, and then mechanomes roll up to your neighborhood and they're hanging out, and as you progress that month through the endeavor together, it gets more fancy, and I guess they build bigger robots and stuff. I watched the housing showcase creator clash thing from Gamescom, and to me the most amazing thing was the labyrinth that Skara made with the interactable doors. Now this was incredible because since you have to click on the door for it to open and for you to see if it's the right way or not, you can actually build your own treasure map dungeon. If you're familiar with that from Final Fantasy, you know, you can build your own mini game where the player has to choose the correct door every time, and there's no way of knowing until they actually click on it. So I thought that was super cool. As I mentioned last time, you can access the housing virtual tour online right now, and one of our buns in the Discord noticed that the Onyxia head looks kind of derpy. Honestly, I mean, look, I know this game is made out in California and they don't know a whole lot about mounting trophy heads to walls. But when it comes to something like this, you want to hire a professional, because if you want an Onyxia to look nice on the wall, you're going to have to skin it, tan it, build the form, stitch it all into place, dry it out, detail it, and finish it. If you just slap a head on the wall as is, you're going to have it sagging like it is. You're going to have bugs. It's going to stink to high heaven. We finally got footage of the Haranir. Like, lots of really good examples, but they only put it in a short. We don't have the footage anywhere else. Why are you doing this? At least give press like a press kit that has footage in it, right? Half the people are not even going to see this in the short. I'm not going to look the gift hawk Strider in the mouth, because before you release this short, I was literally going through the gameplay footage frame by frame trying to find an image of the Haranir like they're a freaking Bigfoot, like they're a cryptid out here. Speaking of Bigfoot, I have a conspiracy theory about the Haranir, and I have reason to believe that they can all be bats. Let me explain. In the developer panel with Maria Hamilton, she first talked about the druid forms, and she mentioned that they have a pangolin form. This is tangentially related, but I've seen some pangolin type creatures walking around in some of the other footage, and I wonder if that's actually the model they want to use for maybe the bear form, because this could be a fantasy pangolin, or it could just be another weird bug or something like that. I don't know. You can tell me if you think that's a reasonable theory. But anyway, she talked about the druid form. Then she moved on and she talked about the customizations for Haranir. that all Haranir have and how great they look. And then she moved on and said, if you've seen them in the War Within, you know that they take a bat form when they want to travel. Because she said this after already discussing the druid forms, that seemed to imply to me that all Haranir can fly as bats and not just druids. Another reason I believe this is because it does indeed seem like all of the Haranir that we've met can turn into bats. And in the beginning of the War Within, there were people who were suggesting that maybe this is a druid-only race because of that. But now that we know, could it mean that bat form is actually another racial for Haranir? Now, there is an addendum to this, and there's a reason to not think it. But also, yes. Okay, so what I mean is, in a Mr. GM interview, Jade Martin talked about the Haranir racials specifically. He said that they're going to have, one, an active ability for summoning roots that are friendly to allies and, like, enveloping, you know, lovingly, affectionately healing you and your friends. Fanfic writes itself, you know, but it's going to be damaging to enemies, your plant tentacles, in a patch area on the ground. He also said that the Haranir will have innate crit damage and healing, and that they're going to deal more damage to aberrations and elementals and take reduced damage from them. He also said they'll be able to fast travel between world tree routes. So some you might have to go find and unlock. Is this going to be like the druid dream ways, but you have root ways? But how does this all connect to my theory about bat form? Well, Jade Martin said that he already talked about another racial in another interview. And he didn't mention that other one in this interview. But I cannot find the other interview that he talked about it in. It's probably not out yet. I watched every one. I'm not obsessing over this. And I checked other languages, and I will check every interview until I find anything about the other thing that he's talking. But here's the other thing. Maybe you turn into a bat, and then that's how you access the roots to go up, to go down. I don't know. As soon as I know, you will know. Another interesting tidbit is they were asked, where is Haranir on Azeroth? And Paul Cubitt said absolutely insane things that were pretty trippy and weird. He said that it defies 3D definitions of where it is. Fantasy zone, fantasy location, tied to the world trees and the nature of them. Within Azeroth, where specifically, is it underneath a continent or not? It doesn't work that way. What do you mean it doesn't work that way? It's where the root's gonna be except underground. That's where roots go, right? Am I crazy? Unless the ground isn't real. Like, what if this ground isn't real and our eyes aren't real? I also caught a glimpse of what I believe is the Haranir racial pet, like the one you get when you make a hunter. This super cool bioluminescent plant raptor guy. Found him going frame by frame through the gameplay reveal trailer. And I've been educated that the cat bat thing is a wolverine. By the way, they've also shown a Haranir baby. I don't know if you noticed that. Moving on to Apex talent points. In the expansion, we'll be leveling up to 90, and we will get 10 talent points in that process. We're going to get 3 points for the class tree, 3 for the hero talent tree, and 4 for your spec tree. The hero talents are going to add another lane, so a 4th lane, and the spec tree is 4 points of Apex talent. There will be a panel on Saturday where they're going to add more information about that. The Demon Hunters will get a new talent, hero talent, called Annihilator currently. Internally, they might change the name. They said it's about calling down void comets. Vengeance will also be able to access this, but for Vengeance, it's going to be Fell Meteors, and you won't have Fell Scarred anymore. Devourer and Havoc are getting Fell Scarred. A new info about Devourer is that there's going to be 2 play styles. So you could play mid-range as a caster, where you just try to stay in your void metamorphosis form as long as possible. And the other playstyle you can choose is the hybrid, where you're dashing in and out of melee combat. more like Red Mage from Final Fantasy. They confirmed there will not be any Nightborn demon hunters because you have to be in a bad place to want to sacrifice everything, and Void Elves are closer to that now. Paul Cubitt also confirmed that other new race class combinations are coming in the World Soul Saga, but when is anyone's guess. Now, in my last video, I said Silvermoon would have some areas for the Horde, but now it's been confirmed that it's actually mostly for the Horde, which is, I think, great news. Don't forget that Haranir, if you're interested in playing one, can choose Alliance or Horde, so I don't know, maybe the Horde's back, right? They said Silvermoon City will have a smaller area that is the hub city part, that's sanctuary where Alliance can hang out, but the majority of the city will be Horde only, and Alliance will be kill on sight. We did discuss new dungeons in my last video, but as for the delves, it has been confirmed that Bran is being replaced with Valyria Sanguinar, and I think it's funny that we're gonna have one of the most legendary rogues of all time tanking or healing for us. Like, evasion tanking I get, but the healing, it's like asking Gordon Ramsay to make you a PB&J, or like to heat up the DiGiorno's pizza in the oven. But he can do it. But they said Bran brought the explorer vibe with a little bit of humor, but she will have a different vibe. They also want her to be smarter and to avoid stepping in things and pulling things. They want her to be memed on less, but I have news for them. She's gonna get memed on, because the more time you spend with players, the more you become a meme. Prey is the new system that Ian Hazacostas described in the Cyber interview as a cat and mouse game leading to a final showdown. You pick a zone and an enemy, and the enemy hunts you down, or maybe you will find him first. It should be fun for solo players and for outdoor enjoyers. They said normal mode shouldn't be harder than what's normally in the outdoor world. Top tier of the nightmare difficulty is closer to more difficult delves. They said you can get edgy blood elf look transmog rewards, and that power rewards will happen too against the most difficult prey. PvP, we know about the 40v40 battleground, which is great. I heard them bring up Alterac Valley and describing it, but what's new is that Comp Stomp is becoming permanent in Midnight, and it's changing its name to Training Grounds, and so it's you and other humans versus NPCs in battlegrounds, which is really good because even if you don't do PvP at all, you can do Comp Stomp and get your marks of honor so that you can get those beautiful PvP transmog sets without having to fight other players if that's something that gives you anxiety, because it's all versus NPCs. And I actually think there's gonna be some spillover from this into actual PvP, which God knows the game needs right now. We got some hints about the story and the zones. They said that light versus void is as much of a theme as just void is. So we're going to see Arator and Turalian involved on the topic of what it means to be a paladin. That's going to be explored. You'll see Sylvanas at some point. That seems very likely, said Maria Hamilton in a Cyber interview, but no Naga anytime soon. Zul'Aman, the city of the trolls, was described as a primordial Pacific Northwest where everything in the zone is really big. You can choose your own pathway through the zones. So you start in Silvermoon, then Eversong Woods. After that, you get a choice. So you can go to Zul'Aman or Hyrandar, or go into the Arator chapter that they're calling it, which is actually really interesting. So that takes you to some of the older places in the world, like Light's Hope Chapel, Stratholme, and you're with Arator. He's figuring out his relationship with the light. I love that concept. And after you complete all those 3 chapters, then you move on into Voidstorm. The old version of Eversong Woods will be accessible by talking to Zadormi, and yes, you will be able to skyride from Eastern Kingdoms north all the way to New Eversong, which is great. Or you can be real old school, normal fly, auto run, all the way there. Then you alt tab and you're dead in the ocean from fatigue. Also, Paul Cubitt said that Dark Spear trolls specifically will be able to unlock some new Amani style customizations like hairstyles from completing the Zul'Aman story campaign. I love that. The game is pretty sadly deficient on hairstyles. We need a ton more hairstyles unlocked across the board. Like, I will do literally any quest you want me to do for a hairstyle. I will clear a mythic raid for a hairstyle. Do you understand what the stakes are? Exile's Reach is getting a revamp in Midnight. I almost said Hair's Reach revamp. That's how much I have here on the brain. It'll be faster, smoother, better, and it's going to lead into Dragonflight and the War Within. They're going to streamline the story and include raids in single-player story mode. Returning players will get a personal welcome back from Thrall or Jaina. That's going to be set in the Arathi Highlands. That'll get you back up to speed on your mechanics, let you know what's going on in the story of the world, and they're going to add a catch-up questline for the War Within. So going into Midnight, if you've never played the War Within, or you just want a refresher, you can get through all the story beats in one questline, and normally that would take you a couple of dozen hours to do normally, but through this, it'll take a couple of quick hours, they say, to go through all the major cinematics, story beats, covering everything from Isle of Dorn to Ghosts of Koresh. Skywriting is getting an update where Vigor is going away, and there will be shared charges for abilities, so Surge Forward and Skyward Ascent are going to share 6 charges each. There's a lot of UI updates that seem pretty substantial coming in Midnight, like better default nameplates. They've improved how threat works, so there will be a fire on it if you're pulling. If they go around you, there's an indicator like, hey, the guys behind you now. They're going to improve the telegraphing for critical lethal casts, because sometimes a monster will cast something that's very dangerous, and if you don't kick it, the group is probably going to wipe or take a heavy damage. And so they want to really show that it's a cast you must interrupt. It's going to be larger and flashier, so it will be even more embarrassing when everyone doesn't do it. The transmog window will be revamped and much bigger, and it'll look more organized. The transmog is becoming slot based, and they're introducing outfits, which I mentioned in the last video, but a bit more clarity on this has come out. So there's going to be slots that you unlock to auto change your transmog depending on the situation. You get some outfit slots for free. You can buy more outfit slots over time, and they said that these will be cheap, whatever that means. So you can make an outfit called Pajamas and set it so it activates anytime that you're at your house, or a different one for being in a raid or doing crafting or fishing or whatever. So the only cost will be for creating that outfit for the first time and unlocking that slot, but after that it's all free and just handled automatically. Damage meters are officially coming to the game as well as a native Blizzard feature. It will include healing tracking and damage tracking. They said that it's a work in progress. Whatever you want to do with making your in-house damage meters, you need to be able to add also a way to analyze all that information in the same way we can with WoW Analyzer. The boss raid timers are also coming. A timeline that shows casts and abilities are coming. So lots of thought is being put into the raid and combat UI. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to replace every add-on. Gamescom isn't over, and I have no doubt I will have more to say in the next video as more and more information comes out, and I gather it here for you. Let me know what you're most excited about from all the news coming out of Gamescom about Midnight. If you want to play a Haranir, if you want to play a Blood Elf, let me tell you, I've been getting footage from Eversong Woods for these videos, and it is packed with Blood Elves right now. There's so many people. Crazy. I haven't seen anything like this since the Burning Crusade. If you're new to the game or lost or coming back and you don't have a guild, you're in luck. You're welcome to join our guild, Only Buns. Join our discord.gg/ZeplaHQ, and you can look in our Only Buns invite channel, and that'll explain to you how to get an invite into our guild so you can lock a spot in our guild neighborhood before housing goes live. I stream on Twitch 4 nights a week, sometimes 5, at twitch.tv/ZeplaHQ. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel either over there on Twitch or on Patreon. You can also support the channel for free by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow Bun Buns. I want to also thank my Patreon Buns who subscribe at the highest tier. That's Chris and Pete Wilson. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!